let's get you some more macro stories, global stories, and that's the big one coming in from the economic data from US, and that's US unemployment claims. That has dropped sharply by 15,000 to 2,27,000 last week, well below expectations. Now this data again signals continued labor market resilience despite the high interest rate scenario. However, more people were collecting benefits in mid of October, which raises the risk of a rise in jobless rate this month.
All right, moving on then. In more macro data, US manufacturing showed signs of stabilization as the PMI edged up to 47.8 in October, still signaling contraction but at a slower pace. Meanwhile, the service sector is driving growth, with the composite PMI rising to 54.3 despite ongoing election uncertainty as well. In housing, new home sales surged 4.1% in September, hitting a 16-month high, surpassing forecasts.
Mixed sort of data coming in, but then moving on to some news from the banking space. British bank Barclays, that soared to a 9-year high after third quarter profit that jumped nearly 23%. Now, this has beaten the expectation. This was driven by robust growth in its trading business. This beat helped the management up its income guidance for this year as well. Meanwhile, a few days after Disney appointed Morgan Stanley's Gorman as its CEO, the investment bank has appointed the Ted Pick as his next chair. Pick joined Morgan Stanley in 1990 and ran equity capital markets during the financial crisis.
All right, then moving on, let's delve a little deeper to what happened with Tesla as well. An earnings beat and a bullish commentary boosted Tesla shares to their best session in over a decade. And more interestingly, this rise also helped increase Elon Musk's net worth by $26 billion in just a single session. Remember, he's already the richest person in the world, with his net worth now standing at $269 billion. He owns about 13% of the EV auto giant.
And despite asking for a pay cut after the major security gaffe at the company, Microsoft CEO Nadella, total payout jumped over 60% to almost $80 million, and this is on the back of stock awards. Still, $5.5 million less than what it would have been if not the pay cut.
Right, moving on then, in what could be another sign of slowdown in the auto sector, Harley-Davidson has cut its full-year revenue forecast due to weak demand, citing inflation and high borrowing costs. Now, North American retail sales plummeted 10% despite beating Q3 profit estimates as well. The company expects global shipments to fall 16 to 17% and retail sales to decline 6 to 8%, marking the second guidance reduction this year.
Okay, and now let's get you in.
There comes a time when your heart calls for you to arise. Plant your feet solid into the ground. Decide your own limits, and then break right through them. Become something more. It's my time to rise.